thing we've been seeing, that once people know what team they're on Major League Pickleball, that's how they partner up for the PPA tournament. So that's been fantastic to see.
Side out.
Just a bit wide for Tyra Black. Patient opening point. Ball back to Tamaryn Emmrich.
0-0-1.
Yeah, we had everything in the opening point. A little hands battle, a little dinking. I'm going to guess Tyra and Jorja are going to test the team in the middle a little bit. So far, clear communication on Kaitlyn's part. Taking the third.
Second serve.
Nice slide by Tammy. Just a little bit off rhythm. She knows it.
0-0-2.
She's going to activate and get ready for that speed up.
Scoring format is, as we mentioned, games to 11. Side out scoring. Nice get from Christian, and Jorja Johnson buries it down the line. We'll only have rally scoring as part of the Dreambreaker fifth deciding game. If we get there, of course, the match has to be tied 2 games apiece on each side to get to that point.
Second serve.
But this was a good example of Tyra testing the middle. A little bit of bad luck.
0-0-2.
She hits the net on one of her counters, but she was working on opening up the court through the middle.
Side out.
Still 0-0. I don't think we have enough data to have opinions about game to 11 just yet. But so far, all we know that people are serving a little bit bigger, and you better start fast. And if you're not starting fast, you probably should take a timeout before it's too late.
Second serve.
Black embracing that natural power to set up the points.
All right, still even. Kaitlyn serving. 0-0-2.
Point.
Serve from Kaitlyn Christian. You mentioned the big serving. There it was on display from Christian.
1-0-2.
The home team for this match, so they get to pick the mixed doubles lineups when we get to those.
Ooh, Kaitlyn setting up that combo perfectly. Just a little bit of rhythm. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the weather and the factors. You know, there's a little bit of breeze.
0-1-1.
Obviously, it's about 90 degrees. The heat index is out there, nice and humid. Yes, it is game to 11, but I think it takes a lot of agility on the part of the players and a lot of endurance to be able to play at the highest level in these conditions.
Johnson buries it through the middle.
Yeah, it was a little sneaky dink battle, and then Tyra Black finds a low-pace backhand flick.
1-1-1.
That opens up the hands battle. Jorja's
do that from such a low position.
Point.
Trying to attack Hurricane Tyra Black that time, who was all over it.
And as you can tell, Jorja and Tyra playing straight up. I would also say there are a few teams in Major League Pickleball that play like this, men's and women's. And in my personal opinion, I think it's a little bit of an advantage because the opponents have to adjust to the patterns. And also, if they find a side that works better at any time, they can continue to stack and make a call like that. But yeah, an early lead, 3-1. Tyra and Jorja ahead.
From Jorja Johnson, one of the best in show at that. And Hurricane Tyra Black and Jorja Johnson played a more stacked situation with Tyra on the left on the PPA, but not the case here in Major League Pickleball. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it depends on the opponent. I think it depends on the scoring format, and it just depends on the flow of the match. And like we talked about just a little bit earlier, both of them have the capacity to play either side. So they're just versatile players that have a lot of options, and that makes that team just a little bit more dangerous because of that.
4-1-2.
4-1-2. Tammy and Kaitlyn running a switch. Perfectly executed.
Point.
What's your advice to players that are at home trying to unwind the stack to perfection in that way?
Well,
you keep yourself out of trouble.
Great question.
5-1-2.
I think one of the first steps is to return into a big target and gain some momentum. And also,
fumble counter from Tammy. She'll take it. Continue.
And also, don't be afraid to unstack if somebody's serving a little bit bigger. For example, like Tyra could be serving massively. So
1-5-1.
Stacking against her, I'm just going to call a stay. And then Jorja is serving a little lighter. So if she's serving, I'm going to call a switch. And we can adjust by there. So 2-3 options.
Second serve. One, 5-2. Side out.
All right, side out. 5-1 for Tyra and Jorja. This is a game
5-1-1.
to 11. Win by 2. First team that gets to 6, there's going to be a timeout and change ends.
Point.
That play from
Jorja had the advantage because they held their position on the kitchen line and they were able to bring the ball down. Great hands.
The nice read and the drop volley from Kaitlyn Christian, trying to poach. That attempt on the backhand goes deep.
Yeah, big momentum right now for Jorja and Tyra. We also saw Tammy and Kaitlyn switch. Tammy's playing on the left right now, and Kaitlyn was looking to be aggressive. They're back to their original positions, but I think that's a smart move. They're a little bit behind. They need to experiment. They need to see what happens. Maybe now's a good time for a timeout. I know Ben will not call the timeout.
Ever.
So
9-1-1.
somebody has to do it for them. Are we allowed?
I think they listen to you. Nice.
Second serve.
Set up for Emmrich and Kaitlyn Christian. The downside for them is in rally scoring that would count for a point, but in side-out scoring it
9-1-2.
just gets them a hold. One more to go. ATB with perfection for Jorja Johnson, earning game points for the Dallas Flash.
Sick tricks right there. Gonna go into a replay and a two-handed ATP
10-1-2.
by Jorja Johnson. And if you notice, most athletes, they have both one-handed and two-handed options from the backhand side.
Game 11-1.
Well defended by Hurricane Tyra Black. 11-1, the scoreline for the Dallas.
Rotational leader on the Carolina team. You know, who steps up into that role of pumping up their teammates.
Question that many have been asking. Collin Johns
Point.
on the counter, but just deep. Second behind it, Dallas takes the opening point instead.
1-0-2.
Just wide for JW Johnson. Sign out, Carolina.
I'm going to give a slight edge to the Flick
0-1-1.
Wizard and Augie in terms of how they respond to lead courts. The Johns brothers are not known to be the best responders to the lead courts. So we haven't seen any yet, but I think that's going to be a determination of how committed Ben and Collin are to this match if we see a lead court.
Going for it. It's deep.
Yeah, good dinking battle. I think Collin took his chance a little bit. It was a low volley speed up, but he took a lot of pace off, just a little bit out. But overall, I think that was a good decision by Collin, especially depending on the score. It's early in the game. He's testing the team out.
Empty trip for Carolina, surrendering the ball back to Dallas Flash. Oh, we call the left court situation. There's one.
Now we just observe.
2-0-1.
But good play by J-Dub and Augie. Big serve, taking the third shot early and trying to close in a little bit.
Second serve.
Didn't work out this time. Third shot stays a little high, and Ben and Collin take advantage.
2-0-2. Point.
Another big serve by Augie.
3-0-2.
3-0-2.
Ooh, Ben Johns is on it. JW Johnson hunting the middle. To say the Dallas Flash, the best dressed team in Major League Pickleball, from my opinion.
0-3-1.
For now, it's early on in the season, but I would say like the last point kind of also highlighted the similarities between these teams.
In what way?
Like they're very consistent, very systematic. They kind of know the pattern and they stay with the pattern. So they were very patient on dinking. You're not going to see any of the players on the court right now doing chaotic and random things. They're very confident in their dinks. That was actually a really good bait set up by Collin. He probably needed another step to the kitchen line to be able to be on top of that volley, but he goes a little bit lower behind J-Dub, pushes him off. Just unfortunate miss there.
And John spicing things up on offense.
Yeah, that was a classic speed up of the bounce. The third shot
3-0-2.
set up a little bit high. Very nice controlled aggression from the forehand, and then sitting on 3 or 4 counters out of the air to finish the point.
Point.
Dallas with a lead. 4-0-2.
Spot for Ben. Full destruction mode on the follow-up touch. Gets Augie out of position. And nobody better at hitting their targets than Ben Johns.
Yeah, nice shoulder fake there as well. And probably give Ben and Collin a little bit of credit for kind of creating a system of how to play doubles and think in terms of court coverage. It's not exactly like a 50-50 situation. You have one player being a little bit more aggressive and dictating the points, and the other player playing a little bit more supportive role.
Point.
So that was kind of the original doubles pattern. And then you have a few players coming up right now, like Hayden Patriquin and Gabe Tardio, who are a little bit more aggressive from the right than Collin Johns. And Ben is playing with them on some of the PPA tours. So the game is evolving. Yeah. The rules are evolving. The format, the equipment. So we're just here along for the ride. What a speed up.
Right back, yeah. Gets a little help from the tape. But how have you seen the game evolve as one of the original stars of the sport?
You know, I've been around for 12 years now, and
point.
It's different every year, so I love it. I'm not a very routine person, so when I get new rules, new ideas every year, it keeps me entertained and exciting. So I'm all for it, and yeah, I'm happy to sign up to be the guinea pig.
6-6 continues here in this matchup. Wow, what a grab from Collin in the middle of that point. Tie game. Carolina storming back after being pointless for quite a while to start game 2. Keeping Ben Johns honest down the line. Side out for Dallas.
That was an amazing point, and Ben Johns did a great job demonstrating in terms of the court coverage. You saw him kind of planted in the middle, taking a lot of balls from Collin's left foot. And the reason he is able to do it is, number one, he's not missing those shots.
Those either.
And number two, he's able to get to the backhand side in time to cover it. Like Augie tested him 3 or 4 times into that point for the backhand, and then Ben was able to hit a defensive shot and kind of neutralize it to keep the point even. So I think for people at home who are thinking about how active they want to be from the dominant side, they have to take those things into account.
Point.
That's a third from Collin, and Ben polishes off the point.
Absolutely, yeah. Take over, make sure you're not missing. If you're missing, dial back a little bit. Can you cover the left? If not, again, dial back a little bit and give your partner a little bit more freedom.
Destroyed by Ben Johns. It requires a little bit of self-awareness, especially at the rec level for playing the left in that situation. Who battle it out for 4 rallies apiece, and great crowd today in Orlando midway through men's doubles game number 2. Dallas leading 1-0 in the series.
Point.
And another point for Carolina. The women's doubles team for Dallas, by the way, they only surrendered 1 point
7-4-1
yesterday through 2 matches. It's Hurricane Tyra Black and Jorja Johnson. That's how dominant they are as a women's doubles team.
Impressive, and impressive their ability to focus.
Collin Johns wielding the reset cross-court to Augie and throwing down the attack right back to JW Johnson's line.
8-4-1. Second serve.
For Ben Johns. Second serve still for the Carolina Hogs. Minimal points in 3 total games played together in this tournament. They only lost 1 point yesterday. It was to Paris, Todd, and Leah Jansen. That's a really good women's doubles team. Dropped 4 to KK and Tammy Emmrich. Total of 5 through 3 matches for those two.
How do they do it?
Point.
A great point for Ben Johns as we continue with game number 2. Carolina in a must-win situation here to even out the match series 1 game apiece. Especially with the doubles team of Jorja and JW Johnson. From Augie on the line on Ben. Ball back to the Dallas Flash.
All right, you can see Ben and Collin stacking here, and then Collin gave him a signal. They're using an open stack.
Point.
And the person who is sliding into the court, their responsibility is to cover the middle, and I think they also might call a stay if the return is really short. Ooh.
Just wide on the counter for Augie. Slid and read it early. Couldn't get his paddle there quick enough.
Absolutely, and the point started earlier with JW and Augie trying to be really aggressive because Ben and Collin weren't unwinding the stack, but the Johns brothers were able to defend. They reset it to neutral.
Point.
And similar pattern right now.
6-9-2.
Another look. This one, JW Johnson. Brings up the tee, test Ben Johns. Next play and shake and bake. Augie Gunn finishes it off. Dallas within reach. They need 2 to tie it.
I call it timeout for the Carolina right here.
Agree with that.
7-9-2.
Augie trying to get crafty, forcing a speed up on Ben Johns, who knew it was coming. Side out, crucial moment to do so. Instead of calling the timeout, they simply get the ball back on their side. Carolina feeling some scoreboard pressure now, 9-7-1. How are the Johns brothers able to neutralize JW Johnson?
Well, I think the cool thing about this point was, like, you saw J-Dub dinking almost exclusively two-handed on his backhand side with the cross court, so they can help disguise the speed up.
Point for Carolina. Ben Johns scrolls through the middle and hits the winner. 11-7. Carolina evens out the match series. So, in my opinion, it all comes down to this game right here in mixed doubles. Jorja and JW Johnson taking on Ben Johns and Tammy Emmrich. Tammy Emmrich in the hot seat. She's going to be the target. She knows that, I would assume. Jorja Johnson back to serve first. It's deep for Tammy early. You could chat with Tammy. What would you tell her in this matchup, knowing Ben the way that you do, knowing this matchup the way that you do after this point?
Tammy has a really good backhand, so if she's anticipating a speed up, just kind of being ready to slide. And then
Second serve.
not be afraid to dink soft behind J-Dub, and also finding a little bit of maybe like a faster dinking pattern to Jorja and just force Jorja to speed up at Ben and hope Ben has the hands and he's sitting on the backhand there.
Put away from Jorja Johnson. When you say faster dink pattern to Jorja, what does that look like?
Maybe dinking like a little bit deeper and then getting Jorja to speed up out of the air from a lower shot.
Point.
Slew of misses to start for Carolina. Dallas Flash taking the early lead.
2-0-1.
Through the middle it goes. Jorja Johnson finishes it off. How about the Ernie pressure from Jorja Johnson funneling that ball to a specific spot?
That was beautiful. I think that's the time where you just compliment your opponents because they executed it perfectly and you got outplayed with a sick trick. So you just got to be happy for them.
Second serve. (3-0-2).
Pops it up to Jorja Johnson.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky for Ben Johns there, but you also notice he kind of added a two-handed thing to his arsenal just so he is able to speed up and be a little bit more deceptive about it.
Point.
He got a little unlucky on the left court, and right now perfectly executed third by J-Dub. And
5-0-2.
so just serving 5-0.
Their edge in the perimeter.
Side out. (0-5-1). Second serve.
A little bit ambitious on Tammy's part on that one. If she had an
0-5-2.
option to reset that one, that would probably be a little bit better solution.
Side
But
out.
when you kind of in the swing of things, sometimes it's difficult to make that
5-0-1.
decision.
Second serve.
Johnson almost had it down the line on Ben.
And that's part of the strategy for both teams, is being able to go and dink or drive behind the guy toward the backhand and the left foot into a big target, just to open up a little bit more of the court and maybe get the male player moving and off balance if possible.
0-5-1.
And it holds off Dallas with a 6-0 lead at the end change, potentially. Let's see if they open the scoring.
Second serve.
And well for Tamaryn Emmrich.
0-5-2.
It's probably in the budget. I think if you ask Ben, he actually knows the exact number of errors he's allowed to have and his partner is allowed to have. So I think everything is within the budget right now. Great movement there by Ben.
1-5-2.
Nice little top spin through the middle.
Jorja Johnson creating some chaos, testing Ben Johns to his backhand side, getting that ball on the ground too. Well done.
5-1-1.
Yeah, at the highest level like this, it takes like 3 or 4 shots to actually set up for the shot you want.
Again, 6-1-1.
ETP and a beauty for Jorja Johnson. 6-1 the lead for Dallas as both teams will flip ends. Take another peek. making it look easy. Jorja Johnson playing the most mixed doubles game.
6-1-1.
And Andre Diescu winning that one. Fourth one was tight too. Great win for Columbus. Nice ball out of the end change for JW Johnson. This one getting out of hand in a hurry for the Carolina Hawks.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I've been watching Rangers Columbus mix for a minute there. And it was very interesting, actually. Like, Christian was hitting a lot of balls to CJ. And CJ went on a big run in the game. They got up to, like, maybe 10-4. And then the Rangers came back, maybe by adjusting a little bit. But it was a slightly different strategy. Granted, CJ is a lefty, but I doubt that Christian didn't compute that, like, right? But maybe it would be. I'll be curious to see what was the rationale behind that strategy.
Side out.
Strategy-wise here, Columbus.
1-7-1.
Carolina running out of time. An athletic move from Jorja Johnson. It covers off the tape.
Yeah, Jorja anticipating the shake and bake. She got a little bit of help from the leg court, but basically you have two options. You either slide and hit a backhand, or you get low and hit a scorpion on the forehand side.
Side out.
Side out again for Dallas.
7-1-1. Second serve.
That was in.
Well played.
Yeah.
7-1-2.
Bend it like Beckham right there.
Nice serve.
Point.
From Dallas flash side. Tamaryn Emmrich apologizing for hitting Ben with some friendly fire. Jorja Johnson torquing some nice spin on that one.
I think it was the opposite. Ben, it was kind of Ben's fault. So he apologized to his partner for not letting her return go through.
And Jorja Johnson follows it up with a huge play, 9-1. For the Dallas Flash, looking to go up 2-1 in this match.
All right, Ben is standing a little bit more conservative on the switch now, knowing.
Side out.
All we need is 5 big serves, and we're back in action. But no missed returns from JW and Jorja. Fantastic.
Second
Consider
serve.
high to the forehand of JW Johnson.
One 9-2. Side out. Nine 1-1. Let.
You're to let court in
9-1-1.
MLP and PPA. We replay the serve.
Second serve.
A little loose arrow on
9-1-2.
JW's part on the third shot, but it's in the budget. Jorja serving 9-1-2.
Johns faster at getting the ball down on the other side, and he does just that, despite his side being in a little bit of some trouble in that point.
1-9-1.
Side out, Carolina.
Second serve.
Can't go there. Tamaryn Emmrich on the third shot drive, high to the forehand.
1-9-2.
JW Johnson.
Side out. Nine 1-1.
All right, third side out. JW and Jorja have been stuck on the 9 for a little bit. They make the third here, working their way in.
Ben Johns stubborn not to let these two earn a game point.
9-1-2. Point.
Nice return by Tammy. She did everything right, and she was running on the switch. She basically has to be ready for one shot, which is a forehand.
10-1-2.
She executed her low forehand third pretty low, but J-Dub gets the hands and the game point.
Side out.
Set for Jorja Johnson, game point number 2 now for Dallas.
1-10-1.
A floater.
Point.
That sits, and a big fist pump from Ben Johns. The slowest winner in all of history.
Sick tricks.
Point.
Third shot try. Carolina takes another.
3-10-1.
Like you said, 5 heavy serves. Maybe they'll find some magic here. And now he's just redlining. Why not? You might as well. If you have the skill set that Ben does, loosen up on the structure in this score line and just play.
4-10-1.
Well, that's where Tammy complements his skill set as well. She has a lot of firepower, so she might swing a little bit more free as well.
Point.
I can see Dallas taking time out here pretty soon, but yeah, anything is possible. Like my team and I were down 6-0 the other day in women's, and we're able to win 11-7, so you just gotta hang in there. Just want to take this opportunity. Big shout out to my team. Let's go SoCal Hard 8.
Stone, the general manager there, friend of ours in the booth. How about this? A timeout for
here year after year, and
6-10-1.
yeah, back in action with Ben Johns serving.
Yeah, looking to make a run for it again. Ooh, missed the reset. I like redlining Ben, though. I like when he's playing with some creativity
6-10-2.
and out of the structure that we're used to seeing.
Side out.
Third shot drive attempt to the backhand side of JW Johnson. A great timeout taken for Dallas. Game point number 3 for the Flash.
10-6-1.
Jorja Johnson question would not be denied in game 3. The Flash take the third. Off the world's best, Ben Johns and Tammy Emmrich. So a 2-1 edge to the Dallas Flash. Hurricane Tyra Black competition at the top of Major League Pickleball this year. This is the only match for Dallas on this Saturday afternoon. They do have some more matches coming your way on Sunday. They'll take on the Chicago Slice over on Grandstand at 10 a.m. And that is a wrap for the Flash. As for Carolina, got a busy schedule ahead tomorrow in action as well.
0-0-1.
Right now, it's all game 4 against the Dallas Flash. Carolina looking to even out the match series.
Second serve.
We had a pretty good opening point, but I think another key factor would be for
0-0-2.
Kaitlyn and Collin find a way to go behind Augie a little bit to open up the court.
Side out.
And for Collin to go a little bit outside of his algorithm, which I think we can expect. He has a lot of tools
0-0-1.
in his toolbox. So I'm kind of excited to see him play a little bit more
Second
aggressive
serve.
and change things up.
Does
0-0-2.
like to play with that structure, though. Trouble with Augie and Tyra is their defense is pretty stellar. They tend to get things back, even baseline falling short there. Carolina keeping them scoreless.
0-0-1.
Johns playing aggressive on the left, paying off.
Yeah, great point there. So far, it seems like actually Kaitlyn and Collin are not really keen about going behind Augie, but we'll see if it stands. And a scorpion by CJ to finish the counter battle. 2-0 up for Carolina.
It does be something if this is the duel that extends the match to a dream breaker. Too early to tell. Drive was wide from Kaitlyn Christian, one of the best women's singles players in the world. Several golds on the PPA side in that category.
Yeah, and of course, we got to remember that CJ started his career as a singles player, coming over from tennis. Ben finally convinced him to play pickleball, and he started with singles. And now he's a doubles and mixed specialist.
Point.
A point for Carolina. Augie and Hurricane Tyra Black look stumped.
That was a little bit of a surprise attack. However, you know, Collin had a ball in like a neutral zone. It was high enough so he can control it really well. Well executed. And caught Tyra by surprise.
And from Tyra Black, Collin Johns was on it.
Yeah, that's a testament to Collin doing his homework. He was ready for the cross-court speed up there. Just a little bit out on the return.
Timeout change in 6-0-2.
So Carolina jumps out to a 6-0 lead, looking to blank the defending champs here in game 4. We can have a dream breaker on our hands here on Torrey Championship. Pickleball champion since its inception in 2021, midway through this game number 4. Carolina, huge 6-0 lead. Ooh, what a counter by Augie Gunn. And even getting a round of applause from Collin Johns.
Yeah, excellent point. We're going to see it in replay over there. Kaitlyn playing fantastic, doing her job. Collin being aggressive and creative. I think he got a little bit overconfident in that one. He thought he put the ball away, but Augie had it back. You know, you got to stay locked in until the point is not over, till it's not over, till it's over.
Johns leaving one high for Hurricane Tyra Black to open up the scoring. See if Dallas can search for any momentum here.
1-6. Augie serving.
Off the net. Unfortunate bounce. Collin Johns not happy with that one. Is a left board all it would take to throw this team off? We'll see. Dallas finding some momentum. Paying off that 6-0 run after the end change was key for Carolina.
2-6-1.
Game 2020.
I know, I have a feeling CJ is going to handle this let court like a pro. It's not going to faze him at all.
Another miss, another gift over to Dallas. Much more reasonable scoreline here for the Flash.
3-6-1. Point.
Christian hands another point over to the Flash. And a nearly erased effort at the start of game 4 that held so much promise for the Carolina Hogs.
Can we call a timeout for Carolina?
4-6-1.
Lose this one on an unforced error, you need to. Tyra Black going off.
Timeout,
You were
Carolina
correct.
Hogs.
Collin Johns will call
5-6-1.
a timeout on the court. You're going to step aside with them. Carolina in some trouble now. Dallas with a chance to tie it out of the break.
Off, but I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing, and then KK just needs to be ready for Tyra to speed up from below or flick the backhand and then just slide and counter.
Collin Johns going for it that time out of the air. Dallas ties it at 6.
I think the wind was a little bit of a factor. There's a slight wind to the right from here and move the ball away from CJ. It was a slightly risky speed up, but it was plausible.
Second serve.
All right, they need to hold one more. 6-6-2.
6-6-2.
Tyra serving.
Side out.
Much needed side out for Carolina. Where do they go from here after jumping out to a 6-0 lead?
6-6-1.
Well, you just have to start over. It's like 0-0, you know?
Second serve.
Set from Christian. Collin Johns back to serve at 6-6-2.
And yeah, no worries there. The ball hits the tape. You just got to move on from this mistake and keep grinding. Sick reset by CJ.
Side out.
But they've been winning by being aggressive, so it's a tricky balance situation. Absolutely. Do you keep going or do you slow it down?
Second
It's
serve.
when Collin's been aggressive that they've been winning more of the points.
Six-6-2.
A little change up. Served by Tyra.
It's deep
Side out.
from Collin Johns. No points for Dallas.
6-6-1. Second serve.
Second serve, Collin Johns.
6-6-2.
Smart play there on the Dallas part. Keeping the ball to Kaitlyn in transition.
Almost recovered
Side out.
by Kaitlyn Christian. Instead, side out Dallas.
Back to 6-6.
6-6-1.
Good suspense. Augie serving.
Second serve.
Perfect placement by Kaitlyn. Nice flamingo executed off the left foot.
6-6-2.
Nice passing shot by Tyra. CJ and Kaitlyn had it set up. Last counter, Kaitlyn not able to put the ball down. Tyra gets a chance to swing it and gets it right behind Collin on the line. Exciting. 7-6-2.
Kaitlyn Christian.
Yeah, so far, Tyra sped up every single time cross-court. Collin kind of setting up for that situation. Yes, he took a lower ball to speed up, but he was sitting on Tyra's counter and puts his backhand, one-handed backhand down. Well played by CJ.
Second serve.
Stuck on 6 for quite a while now.
6-7-2. Point.
This return will help Carolina get off of 6.
7-7-2. CJ serving big.
Ooh, and Tyra beats Collin Johns through the middle. Is there anything Kaitlyn Christian could have done on that one either?
Well, no. I think that was a great change-up by Tyra because she went cross-court on that speed-up 7 times. Collin was sitting cross-court, so she goes middle.
7-7-1.
Kaitlyn's job. Yeah, so I think it was just really, really great shot by Tyra and good adjustment because she was losing a little bit on that pattern. I know KK wants that one back.
7. Dallas leads.
8-7-1.
Clinching situation for the Flash. Oh, and Collin beats Augie Gunn with a counter. Kaitlyn Christian opting to stay on the left at that time. Opting to stay for this sequence as well. Take another peek at the hands battle. Deep return. Collin fills the middle with success. Sign out. Dallas held off for now.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about unstacking earlier in the broadcast, and then CJ and Kaitlyn showed us perfect examples, but it looks like they made a permanent switch right now. Love it.
Oh my. Little bit of a miss hit, to say the least, but Collin Johns will take it.
I'm not opposed to this idea at all with the gentleman playing on the right, especially Collin's better shot being his backhand counter. I've played with CJ a few times, and we also use that as an option. I've also played with our coach and esteemed broadcaster Adam Stone many times, and he would play on the right, I'd play on the left, and he did the same thing with his wife, Cece. She would play on the left, and they're quite a dangerous team. 9-8-1, CJ and Kaitlyn up.
Collin Johns wants that one back. They've got one more serve to go. Chance to go up game point to force a dream breaker.
9, Kaitlyn. Nine, 8-2.
Off the tape. Reserve for Christian.
9-8-2.
Shot drive into the net for Collin Johns. Do you agree with the choice to drive it there?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a little upset. Last 2 touches, he made a couple of errors, but he's going to bring it back.
Timeout, Dallas Flash.
Dallas taking an offensive timeout here with a chance to tie it, to win this game, to extend the match to a 5th deciding dream breaker. He go with a chance to tie it for the Flash. Third shot drive attempt into the net. Tyra Black loading up for the second serve.
8-9-2.
Augie answers the bell. Christian leads one high. 9-all. Dallas with a chance now to go up game point.
That was a great point.
9-9-2.
CJ and KK try to take care of it, but good defense and counterattack by Tyra and Augie.
You warned us about the backhand attack of Hurricane Tyra Black. Executes it to perfection in cross court as well.
She was ready. And that's the key to attacking. It's not really the first shot that gets you the point. It's the next 2-3 counters. Tyra had it loaded and a match point.
Big drive from the Dallas Flash. They take it in regulation after Carolina.